Have you ever left a conversation feeling like you lost something, but you can't name what? Nobody yelled, nothing exploded, but somewhere between hello and see you later, you agreed to something you didn't want to agree to. Or you explained yourself until the other person was satisfied. Or you apologized, and you're genuinely not sure what for. Here's what's actually happening. Toxic people don't choose their targets randomly. They read signals, tiny, quiet, almost invisible signals that say, this one's movable. Not because you're weak, because you were trained to be agreeable, to keep the peace at almost any cost. And there's one thing you're probably doing right now without realizing that makes your boundaries sound like the opening of a negotiation. Stay until the end. The last behavior is the one that holds everything else together. Without it, the rest won't stick. Most of us were raised to believe that being kind means being available, that good people accommodate, that if someone's unhappy, you didn't explain yourself clearly enough. So try again. Softer. More reasons. A preemptive apology, just to take the edge off. And then you wonder why certain people never quite respect you. Why the same conversations happen on loop. Why you walk away feeling like you left something on the table, and you're not even sure what it was. I used to think this was just my personality, that some people are naturally intimidating and the rest of us are just menu items. Then I realized it wasn't personality. It was habit. And habits can change. Here are the 7. Behavior number 1. They stop explaining themselves to people who aren't owed an explanation. Calm, grounded people know the difference between context and justification. Context is useful. Justification is just a negotiation with extra steps. When you over-explain a no, 3 reasons, an apology, a check-in on whether they're okay, you're not being polite. You're signaling that your answer is still open for debate. And certain people will take that opening every single time you offer it to them. The rest of us do this constantly. Someone asks for a favor and suddenly we're in a full courtroom deposition. Honestly, I would, but I've got this thing Thursday, and also my back's been a bit, and it's just been a lot lately, and I'm really sorry, like genuinely. They didn't ask for your medical history and your weekly schedule. They asked for a yes or a no. And then, because we haven't suffered enough, we follow up later to check they're not upset. They weren't upset. They are now slightly confused. We have created a problem where there was no problem. That doesn't work for me, is a complete sentence. The silence after it is not a problem you need to solve. Try this. Say it once. Don't add a reason unless you want to. Notice the urge to keep talking and sit in it instead of fixing it. Behavior number 2, they've stopped reacting visibly to provocations. Toxic people, consciously or not, are running a simple test. Does this person react? Because reaction is information. It tells them exactly where the levers are. And here's the cruel part. Even a good reaction works against you. Even a totally valid defense. Because the second you jump to justify yourself, it looks like it landed. It looks like it worked. You know that expression people get when they stay completely neutral and just say, interesting? Like they've received a mildly disappointing lab result and are simply noting it down? Maddening to be on the receiving end of. Completely effective. Deeply worth practicing. Meanwhile, the rest of us are already 3 sentences into a defense. Voice slightly too fast. Hands doing something weird. Explaining ourselves to someone who is now leaning back with the quiet satisfaction of a person who got exactly what they came for. Try this. When your instinct is to immediately defend, pause for 3 seconds first. You go from reactive to deliberate, and the entire dynamic shifts. Behavior number 3. They've stopped trying to win over people who've already decided. Some people have already made up their minds about you. And the more you perform, the more agreeable, impressive, charming you try to be, the more they pull back. Because trying too hard broadcasts insecurity. And certain people are basically heat-seeking missiles for insecurity. Meanwhile, you're at home running the simulation. You've rehearsed Thursday's meeting to finally turn this person around. You're on version 11. In version 11, they pause, look at you with new eyes and say, you know what, I had you all wrong. You've written them a full redemption arc. There's growth, there's a moment. It's quite moving. In reality, though, they're at home watching YouTube. They're fine. The moment you stop needing their verdict, genuinely stop, something shifts. Not because you've won, because you've left the game entirely. Try this. Am I changing my behavior to manage someone else's opinion of me? If yes, that's the thing to stop. Not dramatically. Just stop. Behavior number 4. They stay physically still under pressure. This sounds almost insultingly simple. It isn't. When people feel cornered, the body gives it away before the mouth does. Eyes that drop, shoulders that fold inward, that slight involuntary shrink when someone raises their voice or steps too close. These signals are readable, and to someone who uses pressure as a tool, they're basically a green light. Compare that to the rest of us, who the moment someone's tone shifts, start performing a one-person show called Please Don't Be Angry with Me. Slightly smaller posture, slightly faster speech, nodding more than necessary, the full production. Calm people stay still. Not stiff, not aggressive, just grounded. Like the pressure found nothing to push against. The pressure was a test. Stillness is the answer. Try this. In a tense conversation, feel your feet on the floor. One thing. It anchors everything else. Your posture, your voice, your face. Your body stops broadcasting, I can be moved. Let me know if this is helping by hitting subscribe. It's the easiest and free way to support the channel so that I can keep making videos like this. Behavior number 5. They've stopped filling silence. Toxic people go quiet after you've said something and they wait. And you, because silence feels like disapproval and disapproval feels dangerous, start talking again, right into a corner you didn't need to be in. We've all done this. You've said the thing, cleanly, correctly, it was a good sentence, and then immediately ruined it. So yeah, that's just how I feel. Obviously, I could be wrong. Does that make sense? Sorry, I'm not explaining it well. You were explaining it perfectly. And then you kept going. And now you're apologizing for the explanation of the explanation. There's a version of you that says the thing and simply stops. That version is available. You just have to stop rescuing every silence before it's had a chance to do its job. Try this. After you decline something, stop at the end of your sentence. No, so yeah, no. I hope that makes sense. Full stop. Let the room hold it. Behavior number 6. They don't accept framing that isn't theirs. You always do this. You're too sensitive. I'm just being honest. I didn't think you'd react like that. And what most of us do is engage with the framing. We try to prove we don't always do this. We defend our sensitivity. And in doing that, carefully, reasonably, politely, we've accepted the premise. We're on their ground, inside their version of who we are. Calm people just decline to enter it. That's not how I see it. 5 words. No justification. No debate. Just a quiet refusal to wear the label being handed to them. The conversational equivalent of looking at a costume someone's holding out and saying, no thanks, I'm good. You don't have to prove anything. You just have to not internalize it. Try this. When someone defines your character, notice whether you're defending yourself inside their version of events. Then say, I see it differently, and leave it there. Behavior number 7. They've made a private decision about who they are, and they don't need it confirmed. This is the one underneath all the others. Everything on this list gets easier when you have a settled, quiet sense of yourself that doesn't require external agreement to stay intact. Not arrogance, not performance, just a private knowing. I know who I am. I know what I stand for. And I don't need you to agree. Toxic people target uncertainty. They find the places where you're not fully sure of yourself and apply pressure there. And when they push, and there's nothing movable, they stop. Not because you fought back, because there was nothing to grip. The people who seem immune to this aren't harder or colder. They've just done the slow, unglamorous work of deciding who they are outside of what anyone thinks of them. That decision, quiet, private, never announced, is the foundation every other behavior on this list is built on. You don't broadcast it. You don't defend it. You just know it. And somehow, other people can feel it. Here's where we've landed. None of this is about becoming cold or closed off. You're just stopping the small signals that make you an easy target. The over-explaining, the visible flinching, the endless negotiating with people who've already decided. The 7 behaviors are the practice. The settled sense of self, that's the foundation. Built slowly, quietly. One small decision at a time. And if you made it this far, that actually says something. Most people scroll past anything that asks them to look honestly at their own patterns. You didn't. That's exactly the quality that makes every single thing on this list possible. If you like this video, check out some other videos on the channel. I think you'll find exactly what you need next. Otherwise, until next time. And remember, calm isn't a personality, it's a strategy. You've got this.